Greetings and shalom again. I wanted to come again and to tell you all just a couple of things, and then I'll get off of here. Um, First thing being that back in the 1980s, as I was asleep and living in a non committed type of relationship that would be recognized by our Creator. Um, while I was asleep, I was slapped and I heard a voice that said, "You're dead." But it did not sound like the still small voice that we read about in the scriptures. So that indicated to me that it was a slap from the enemy. And in the meantime, years before that, I had seen my mother's funeral before she had passed, and I saw the place and everything about it pretty much. And it did come to pass that way. And I made a commitment to if Yahuwah had, I wasn't calling him Yahuwah at that time, but I would preach his word if he would let me know when he was about to take her. Okay, let me fast forward. And back in, I believe it was the 1990s, I heard a voice as I was again hospitalized because like I said, I go through a lot, and it's people don't really understand that when they see what's written in the scriptures and how the prophets have said that they fell down as dead and were shaking and did not sleep for days and things of this nature. Exactly what that meant. Okay, anyway, all of a sudden I hear a voice. I've been overdosed with some medication, and I hear this same voice saying, "Get up, you MFs." And I knew that I was not supposed to get up at that time, but it had awakened me. And since I was still under the influence of the medication, I was not completely coherent, and I was staggering through the hallway of the place, and I don't remember the rest of that day, but I do remember when I really came to myself. I was told that it had been about 40 days that I had been out. So again, and what I read about this situation, like I was telling you all about before, I think it's Isaiah 57, where he says, "I live with this one who is." Let me find it so I don't stumble over the words and forget exactly what I'm trying to say here. But these individuals are still trying to say this and that about my fate. Whatever my fate, I still want to tell you all the truth. And this is what we have to know. And like I said, there are some people who know what's going on, and I don't know whether everybody knows what's going on, but I still have to put it out there just the same. It says, let's see, "For the righteous perish, and no man lay it to heart, and merciful men are taken away, and none considers that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. He shall enter into his peace, they shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. But draw near hither, ye sons of the sorcerers, the seed of the adulterer and the whore. Against whom do ye sport yourselves? Against whom make ye your mouth and draw out the tongue, and are not children of transgressors, a seed of falsehood? See, are ye not a children of transgressions, a seed of falsehood, rather? I'm sorry. Inflaming yourselves with idols under every green tree, slaying the children in the valleys under the clefts of the rocks. Among the smooth stones to the streams is the portion. They they are the lot. Even to them hast thou poured a drink offering. And again, we talked about before this drink offering that we're giving to pouring out to this one that we think is the Messiah, but the Messiah does not need that type of drink offering. Because actually, like I said, between what's stated in between what the Catholics say and what then I think it's the Lutherans, the Methodists, Calvin, I can't remember who they call it. It's between the transubstantiation and the consubstantiation. And when you look at what's written in 1 Corinthians 11, where Shaul talks about the communion, and where there be that some are sick because of they're not taking the communion as it should be, and some are dead. So if that is the case, and we're partaking of this, and it has no significance other than the symbolism, then something's off about what we're doing there. We need to consider that. All right, let me find out where it was. All right, among the smooth stones. Now, I'm not saying that in the place was not one where I was that at a time or so, but I do know that several times there were individuals there that did not. Let's see, how can I put it? Serve the right type of reaction that you would expect from a savior. The one that I saw that we have the pictures of, and it's called Apollyon and Apollonius, and he's called Zeus, and all of these. And what I've noticed also is that the powers that be, these rulers, these mighty ones, it appears that our lives are being played off in a game as if the Greeks and their mighty ones are using us as pawns in sports arenas and other individuals. I know this sounds stupid, but I want you to listen to the concept. It may be off, but this is how I'm viewing it. Okay, it looks as if the mighty ones are putting these sports arenas into play as individuals, and as I said before about these avatars and things of that nature are the types that are really there are other people involved in that, where they're being how can I put it, where the people who are doing it are substituted by somebody else who is really somebody else. And that's the best way I can get you to understand without trying to really dig deep and try to put it in another way. I'm sorry. Thou wentest to the king with ointment, and didst increase thy perfumes, and didst send the messengers far off, and didst debase thyself even unto hell. Thou art weary in the greatness of thy way, yet sayest thou not, there is no hope. There hast found the life of thine hand, therefore thou was not grieved. And of whom hast thou been afraid or feared, that thou hast lied, and hast not remembered me, nor laid it to your heart? Have not I held my peace even of old, and thou fearest me not? I will declare thy righteousness, and I will declare thy righteousness and thy works, for they shall not profit thee. When thou criest out, let thy companies deliver thee. But the wind shall carry them all away, vanity shall take them. But he that putteth his trust in me shall possess the land, and shall inherit my set apart mountain. Then he says, return, and shall say, cast ye up, prepare the way, take up the stumbling blocks out of the way of my people. For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is set apart. I dwell in the high and set apart place with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. For I would not contend forever, neither will I always be wroth, for the spirit should fail before me, and the souls which I have made. For the iniquity of his covetousness was I wroth, and smote him. I hid me, and was wroth, and he went on frowardly in the way of his heart. And I have seen his ways, and I will heal him. I will lead him also, and restore comforts unto him and to his mourners. I create fruit of the lips, peace, peace to him that is far off, and to him that is near, saith Yahuwah, and I will heal him. But the wicked are like the troubled sea, when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. There is no peace, saith Yahuwah, to the wicked. So what I'm saying here that is that the person that said this in the 90s, get up, you MFs, all right? Now, that was not the voice that I heard that said you're dead. And so again, we have to understand that something had occurred when I was slapped. That something had occurred when I told you I got into the accident in 1981, when this young man in the hospital designated me for 23. Okay, and I was reading in a couple of places in the news today about 23 and all of this, and then on the television there, my wife was watching, and some people mentioned something about the age of 23 and all of this. So I don't really subscribe to what they're saying, because like I said, whatever the consequence, I still have to continue to tell the truth and shame the devil, because he is a usurper, he is a liar, and he's a thief. He came to steal, kill, and destroy. So now, just like this said that there was someone in the hospital that who was for that purpose to heal and to so again, I'm looking forward to that, and I have to keep the faith, just like it says in the book of Revelation about trials, that Satan will try you and to be steadfast even unto death. So again, even if you have to go through the fiery trials of this situation that I'm in, even even to the point of death, that's what we have to. Excuse me, but that's what we have to do. And let's see, there was something else that I meant to mention. Can't think of it now. I'm sorry, I should have written it down, but I will end it there. And may Yahuwah bless us in his Mashiach. And like I said, he says that he lives in a place with this one, and for the purpose of bringing those out of prison that were in prison. So, and I know what it was, because it made a big difference of what occurred last night, and according to these people, about what happened with me and things of that nature. As I was making the recording last night, I was trying to explain how what from the message that I was given, that it's as if there was an Elijah type of message that I was giving to you all. And I guess as soon as I said that, it was as if I had lifted up, and all of a sudden I hear drums. Okay, this was all just about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear some drums as if it was like a tribe from Africa. And then all of a sudden, I hear something in my bathroom, and I also hear at my window in here at the shades something moving there. So there was an evil spirit that came into the room, into the household at that time. So again, I want you all to understand that when you try to do or try to say something that makes a difference in the way that people are going to try to perceive things, and it's not that I was trying to lift up, and if I did and gave the wrong impression or said something out of order to the Creator, I'm sorry for that. But the thing of the matter is that, well, I shouldn't say but I should say the thing of the matter is that when you consider again how our Creator said to Moshe and the children of Israel, and I don't want you all to think that when I say these things that I'm being selective with the Hebrews as a black race, and because all nations that believe in the true Messiah and are going into the kingdom. So again, in all nations that were deceived. It says that there was a great number that came out of the great tribulation. All right. So if this is this type of situation, then this is where we're needful to understand where we're going. Let's see. It's Exodus. Let me see. I'm trying to remember the books of the scriptures. I'm sorry. Okay, it's before Numbers, before Leviticus even. Okay. Okay, 23, and it starts at 20, and I'll end it at 33. He says, "Behold, I send," and it says angel, but it's a messenger or malaki before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. For mine angel shall go before thee, and bring thee into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their mighty ones, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but you shall utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And you shall serve Yahuwah your Barah, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I will take away sickness." This is what I was talking about, that sickness that is coming when we accept who he is, and when he comes for deliverance, and those sicknesses that are there, the healing is there. "There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in the land. The number of days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before you, and will destroy all the people to whom you shall come, and I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee. And I will send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites from before you. And I will not drive them off before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against you. By little and little I will drive them out before you, and until thou be increased and inherit the land. And I will set bounds from the Red Sea even unto the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. And I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them, nor with their mighty ones. They shall not dwell in the land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods or their mighty ones, it will surely be a snare unto you." And that is exactly what happened. We did all of those things that he told us not to do. The name of the Malak or the Malaki that he sent before them, okay, is Yahusha, Moses' servant. All right. And we know that because it was his servant that brought them into the Hittites, the Jebusites, and so on. Now, if you will, just like at the book of Revelation says that what is, what is to come. And if we're to, not, when I say we're, it's inclusive, because we are to love the stranger that is a part of us, because also in Isaiah, it says that he will add to those that are added to him. So when we consider that those that are going to be added to him, all right, we understand that he has loved them, and that this situation is that his name is in them. And when you go to the book of Malachi, this messenger is doing the same thing in that name. So this is why that same messenger says to the people dwelling on the earth, is that to fear Yahuwah. Let's go there for one moment. And again, if may Yahuwah forgive me for lifting up in pride, but I'm just trying to tell you the way that is perceived, the total story as it relates to what's going on. But at the same time, what happens is that Satan tries to make things a little bit difficult, just like like I told you about the trials and what he tries to put you through. And the 23 is casting you through dungeons, going through this dark place, and these people who are officers at different places trying to guard me and things like that. So whatever the circumstance, I'm still going to tell you the truth. All right, here it is at verse 8, chapter 14. Let me read verse 14, 1 for a second. It says, "And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his name, it should say, and his father's name written in their foreheads." All right, so, and then we go to verse 7, and it says, let's see, let me go to verse 6, I'm sorry, first. "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, saying, having the everlasting gospel, or the Asura, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear Yahuwah." It should say fear God, because anybody could be a God, but there is only one Yahuwah, Huahaya. I am he who is beyond the Torah, the teaching, and the law. Excuse me. It says, saying, fear Yahuwah, give esteem to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of the waters. So that is where we're going to be setting up, because the thing is that there's going to be what they call the rapture. But the thing is, there's that marriage, and then these individuals who have, usurped the Messiah's and the Father's authority and his message and everything. It appears that what they're trying to do is make sure that everything is kind of mixed up, just like it appears that even people in your own household have set you up for failure. And I told you before, they maybe knowingly and unknowingly, I do not know, but when questioned about it, they say they don't know that it's done. So I would just have to assume that it's unknowingly. But and sometimes there are things that I said that they didn't do, but I know that it was as it was. Anyway, and just not in the household here, but extended. So just like it was said in the New Covenant, there will be 3 in one in a household, 5 against 2, and so on and so on. So it's imperative to understand that he came to bring division to this earth, and we need to consider about the division and like I said, even these people in the entertainment business and field. I noticed a lot of people coming in doing the goat hand, and I looked it up, and on one side it said that it was a sign of love, but if you are part of a creator who loves you already, do you really have to show a sign? It's in your life. It's in the way that you treat people. It's in the way that you do things, and not for rewards. It's just the way that you're supposed to do things anyway, because you're supposed to even love your neighbor as yourself, love your enemy, do good to those who curse you, and pray for those who despisefully use you and abuse you and things of that nature and persecute you. So it's imperative to do these specific sorts of things and continue to do well, and to stop from sinning, and repent. Let us all repent and continue to ask for forgiveness, and pray the Father that He would give us esteem and give us an opportunity to repent and make the excuse me, I'm a little bit hungry, and making an opportunity for us to make it to the kingdom. So again, it's just the fact that I have to tell you what I have to tell you, whether what Satan means for bad, may Yahuwah means for good anyhow. And may everything be a blessing to you and to your families, and to those who are far off, and to those who are even fighting against the tree. I ask that Yahuwah would be with us all and his Mashiach. Amen.